So this is week 2 of The Artist Way. My week 2 of The Artist Way. It's actually Friday, so tomorrow is my last day. I didn't feel like recording anything. I think I was extra anxious like this week. I'm home alone. I have the dogs. I had work. I just was a bit everywhere, and then I had like my first therapy session, so it was all a bit, I don't know, a lot going on, and I felt tired after work. Oh, and I also felt very insecure and very ugly, so that's also another added annoyance. And so I didn't record at all. Ever since I've been off work, I've really stayed home. I haven't gone anywhere. I don't know if I should really go into it too deep, because I feel like tomorrow I'm going to record again to do my check-in. So I don't want to speak on too many things. Morning pages have been, well, actually, no, I haven't finished today's one, because I sort of went off on a bit of a tangent. Or, no, that's wrong, actually. I got sidetracked, and you know, the things that I was writing my morning papers, I actually, it was sort of like a to-do list for today, and then I ended up being sidetracked and not finishing. Otherwise, my morning pages have been good and consistent, hard but still getting them done. Oh, I haven't done my artist date. I could do that tonight, actually. Here's the thing, I was going to do my vision board for 2026, but then I was like, maybe it's a bit too early to lock things in for that. I might save that for maybe next week, if not next week, maybe the following week, because I don't know, I feel like if I prepare that too early, that I might miss out on things that I want to add to it. So I'm actually, for my artist date this week, I think it's just, I'm going to plan it out a bit more. So I'm probably going to sort of go more in depth with next year's intentions, with my goals, sort of put them into groups like lifestyle, house, family, or relationships. You know, have sort of focus areas to work with. This year's vision board, I did a vision board last year for 2025. I feel like a couple weeks into 2025, I fell flat, and a lot of the things that I had pictured for myself had shifted, and I think it had a lot to do with my mental state. So a lot of what is on my vision board for this year were things that I'm not necessarily sort of seeing value in currently. So it was a bit a funny thing, because that was the first year that I had ever done a vision board. I'd always wanted to do one, and then I finally committed, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to go into it too much, because tomorrow I feel like I'll sort of get into the nitty gritty of it. Or recording so far, like this recording right now, I actually don't mind. I think my camera's quite chunky. It's a big one. It's a big boy. So it's a bit off-putting. I just feel like maybe at some point I might invest in a better camera, or I'll just record on my phone. That will probably more than likely happen over the next couple of weeks, where I'll just do it on my phone. It's so much easier. The quality might drop, or I just might not be as consistent with it. You know, I just want to make sure that I do my check-ins. So as long as I have a check-in to put up, I will be happy with that. I don't know if there's anything else I want to add. If so, I'll just talk about it tomorrow. Yeah. Bye. Okay. I'm back. Today is the last day for week 2, so this is my check-in. Here's the thing, I can't really remember a lot of the reading for this week, and I feel like it's probably going to be that way most weeks. Yeah, so I literally just finished reading week 3's chapter, and so that's sort of in my head right now. I really wish I could stop saying or Yeah, I can't really remember a lot of the content. I do remember when I read it last week though, I got a lot of enjoyment out of it, where I related to a lot of things. This week's reading, should I wait till next week? I'm just going to say it for now because I might forget. This week's reading I felt was a bit harder to get into for me personally in terms of relatability. I don't know, it just didn't bode as well as the past 2 chapters. But week 2 I did enjoy when I did read it. I can't remember I can't remember much of it though. Let me just check some of the parts I marked. Oh yeah, it talked about self-doubt a lot, which is something that I struggle with when it comes to my creative side. It talks about the process of recovering our creative selves, and as we gain strength, so will some of the attacks of self-doubt, which I think is really relevant. There's so many times when I'm trying to heal or better myself and or try things creatively, and then as I start to get into it, I start to have thoughts of doubt, or I start criticizing things that I'm doing, and then I never actually try again, or I sort of end that pursuit of creativity, and then I end up in the same hole that I'm in. Yeah, it says, do not let your self-doubt turn into self-sabotage, which is often my problem. Oh yeah, there's this one line where it's talking about sometimes we fear our own arrogance for pursuing things and feeling the need to be humble about it, that we can't actually find the strength to ask for help in that moment of fear. This is a good line. We could fantasize about art instead of doing the work, which I feel I have, again, a problem with. I often like to imagine myself doing things and writing things and saying things and pursuing different avenues, and the thought of it is fun and like a good time, but actually doing it is out of this world, like not possible. There's one part where it talks about how we feel selfish when we try to be creative, or we feel like we should be spending that time doing other things, or that are more important, and then we put it all on the back burner. Yeah, and that says, I'll start from this part. As vlogged creators, we focus not on our responsibilities to ourselves, but on our responsibilities to others. We tend to think such behaviour makes us good people. It doesn't. It makes us frustrated people. So yeah, as a result of feeling like we need to be doing other things instead of creating or being creative, it actually is a negative, because we think by putting our art to the side and, I don't know, doing things for our family or putting them as a priority, which is, I'm not trying to say that, family isn't important or anything, but we often push our pursuits of art to the back of our minds, because we feel like that's what a good person will do. And then in the end, I get agitated at myself when I think of all the time that I've had. I'm 28 and I always think, I've had so much time to try these things that I want to pursue, or I'm just constantly talking myself down and as a result of how much time has passed and how I haven't accomplished anything that my inner artist truly wants. And then also I underlined one part where it talks about as you get into the recovery process, it says you will learn to enjoy the process of being a creative channel and to surrender your need to control the result. You will discover the joy of practicing your creativity. The process, not the product, will become your focus. So actually just being able to be in the moment and enjoy making art, being creative, rather than what is going to come out of it. Oh yeah, and then it talks about skepticism. Is that how you say it? Skepticism? No, that's not how you say it. Being skeptical. There's one part about being skeptical, and it talks about how many times in trying to be good sports, we stuff our feelings of doubt. We need to stop doing that and explore them instead. Yeah, then there's a reluctance to taking yourself seriously because you're skeptical about pushing things or trying to manifest things and then it not work out. So you're always like doubtful. It says, we've gotten brave enough to try recovery, but we don't want the universe to really pay attention. We still feel too much like frauds to handle some success. So when something good happens, there's been multiple times where there's been good outcomes from something that, when I've taken a step into a certain direction, and I'm often like, I don't want to look too deep into it in case being arrogant, or I just don't. I'm always, what's the word? I'm not a believer. Let's just say that. Oh yeah, that's pretty much it. So we'll get into the actual check-in part. Check-in. How many days this week did you do morning pages? I had done them every day. The last 2 days, today and yesterday, I felt somewhat of a fraud because it was sort of the first time I used my morning pages as sort of a planner or a to-do list. So yesterday I used it to try plan out my Christmas gifts because they've been going round in circles in my head and I just needed to upload it out onto a piece of paper. So I did that yesterday, and then today I did my planning for my vision board, because I actually was thinking about doing my vision board this week, but then I realized I've still got a couple of weeks left of 2025. I didn't want to go create a vision board and then have thoughts or ideas or goals or plans that I hadn't put on the board yet. I didn't want to go too quick into that because we've still got a couple of weeks left. So I'll either do I don't think I'm going to do it next week actually, now that I think about it. I will probably do my artist date, my vision board for an artist date, maybe start of December. I'm thinking that might be more appropriate. But yeah, so I just ended up spending my morning pages planning out my goals and my intentions for next year. And then, we can double back, look at that, and then also see if there are any changes I want to make in the coming weeks or if I want to add things to it. I should have done this from the start. Oh yeah, so I've done them every day. I've noticed this week that when I've been doing my morning pages, it sort of feels more like a routine, like part of my routine. So it's not nearly as, not daunting, but it's just one of the parts of my morning or day where I have to get them done. And so it's less of a chore. That might be the better way to word that. So that's a good thing, I think. But yeah, it's been consistent thus far with 3 pages every day. Okay, number 2. Did you do your artist date this week? What did you do and how did it feel? So this week I did my vision board planning. So I just wrote out all of my goals and intentions. I put them into groups and I sort of just blurted out all of the things I could think of. And then when it actually comes to when I put my vision board together, when I'm getting the photos and actually placing them, I think I will probably narrow it down to the core ones that I want to focus on. And yeah, it felt good to just sort of get an idea of where my head is at thus far. As I was doing my planning, because last year I thought I did a process where you have a word that sort of describes what you want your year to be. And as I was looking for goals and inspiration, I saw something where it was like, don't call it discipline, call it devotion, because I can't even word it right. But it was basically saying how devotion is more like a purposeful way of pursuing something, I guess, whereas discipline is, it seems quite harsh and like get it done. What it was saying for me felt really relevant. I think when I went into last year, there was a lot of determination. I think my word for last year was elevate. I can't recall, but I think I went with the idea of discipline, and I think discipline and devotion are the same in some sense, but I don't know, the way they worded the difference between devotion and discipline for me was actually quite, it had like a bit of a soulful approach that I think is necessary, especially with where I'm at currently. Felt good about it. We'll circle back for the actual vision board and we'll see where we go from there. Okay, last one. Were there any other issues this week that you consider significant for your recovery? Describe them. I didn't want to leave home. Again, I felt guilty, and also I just didn't want to go out. So I stayed home. That's the thing with my artist state, is I think I was initially thinking maybe I'd do something, go out and do something. But I just realized that when it comes to the artist state, it doesn't need to be too much. Oh, that's actually the thing. My artist date this week was to do the vision board, so I thought I would go out and get my photos done for that, but I can't think of anything. And also, that's another thing, my skin barrier is really bad. My skin has never been this bad before, but it's really dry, really irritated, and it's made me feel like shit a little. So I think that also comes into play with wanting to stay home, and like even being on the camera, I'm looking at my skin in the viewfinder. My skin has never looked this way, so I've been a bit off with that. I don't know there's much more for me to say. Oh, I got my camera out, which I'm surprised. I really thought I was just going to do this on my phone. I do think I'm going to get really nervous about filming when the house is full again and I'm not alone, because I get really shy and embarrassed. So I might not whip the camera and the tripod out in the next few weeks until I feel better or comfortable or have the time. I'll probably just do it in secret. But also, that's another thing. Like last week, uploading the first week's video, I felt quite like, oh my god, this has to be perfect. This has to look inviting, whatnot. And then as I posted it, and I saw there was like 3 views, and it was just like my own views, mind you. I realized that no one actually is going to watch these as they come out. That's what I should say. That's what I should say, sorry. Because nobody knows who I am. So I think it's actually been quite comforting knowing that no one knows now, because I think it's sort of just going to be simply for me posting these, the way I edit these. I think it's just sort of going to be a journal of sorts, especially with the chickens, because I know most time people would write them out, but by, I think, uploading the videos and doing a recording of my check-ins is just as valid. Week 2 done. Tomorrow's week 3. Yeah. I'm back because I just realized I didn't touch on the extra tasks that I did this week. So yeah, I got all 3 tasks, I got all 3 extra tasks done, which I'm happy about. And yeah, now it's actually goodbye. Bye.